you've got your business going. People call them KPIs, your key performance indicators. What are the metrics? What are the things that are most important to you to track? All right? So in any business, the kind of key things that you want to look at are your number of customers, the growth rate in your customers, your total sales, your expenses, how your customers are rating your product and service on a scale of 1 to 10, how delighted, how happy, how unsatisfied are they with the product or service, and then anything else that's a key driver that you look at that drives your business. So anyone feel free. We'll do this as a group exercise. We'll do this as an exercise. Somebody raise their hand and tell me about their business or the business they're going to start, and we'll quickly go through and break down what the KPIs are for your business. Yeah, over here. What's your name?
Alex.
Hey, Alex.
We're starting a business. It's a subscription-based online tea service, and it's going to offer a certain amount of tea delivered to the person's door. It's enough for a month's consumption, and it's going to vary from month to month, and it's based on loose tea.
Okay, so Alex has got a business that somebody's going to sign up. They're going to pay a monthly fee, and then for that monthly fee, they're going to get tea delivered to their house. I'm assuming they can select whatever kind of tea they like best, stuff like that, and it sends it off to them. So the KPIs in that kind of business, again, start off with the basics, are what are your number of customers, what's your growth rate in customers from month to month, what's your average order value, what's the order value charging per each customer, what's the lifetime value of the customer. In your case, it's subscription, it's really important. So once you sign up a customer, do they stay for 2 months on average, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months? What's the cancellation rate? What are the number of requested refunds? How much does it cost to acquire a customer? We talked earlier about CPA. Remember that? Cost per acquisition. The 3 things we talked about, the CPC, how much it costs to drive a click over, the conversion rate, and then the price per the product. That's all used. So you want to look at what's your cost per acquisition. How much does it cost for you to acquire a customer online? And then you want to look at, potentially how much overall traffic your website's getting, because that's going to drive in there. You want to look at the conversion rate of when people are getting to your website. What are they converting at? Is it 1 out of 100 people that sign up when they get to your site? Is it 1 out of 1,000? Is it 1 out of 10,000? And then you want to be measuring and asking your customers how happy are you with this product or service, and how likely are you to refer this to somebody else? So we just rattled off 10 things that are really important for you to look at, and those are your KPIs. So the key thing about it is, one, that you define what your KPIs are. The second is that you actually track and measure them, because to define them but not constantly be looking at them doesn't do you any good. I get into Docstoc every morning, and I've got a dashboard of about 20 key stats that I look at. Our revenue, our traffic, our number of sales, a whole host of things. And the very first thing I do every single morning is I go through that dashboard. And so it's important that you habitualize the process, that you make it a habit of looking at your key metrics all the time. Then finally, it's not enough just to look at them. You want to benchmark for success. So you want to say, if these 10, 15 things are my KPIs, and I agree that I'm looking at them every day, what's my goal of where I want them to be in 3 months, in 6 months, in 9 months, in 12 months? And you write down those goals, and you do everything you can to make sure that you hit them. Let's take another business, and we'll go through the KPIs in that business. Who wants to go over there? Yeah, what's your name?
Jesse, I'm a big distiller.
Hey, Jesse. And who are your customers ultimately going to be in the distillery? Are you going to sell it directly to consumers, or are you going to sell it to like retail? It's a beer distributor. It's for beer, alcohol, rum and whiskey. And so, who are your customers?
Retail, bars, nightclubs, distribution.
Got it. So in your business, I would say one of the key metrics is, the big thing that I would look at are labor costs and operating. You've got a lot more capital-intensive business. So I'd really be looking extremely closely at what the costs are on a monthly basis, broken down by labor, broken down by like facilities and everything related there with electricity. I'd be looking at a sales funnel. You're not going to have thousands of customers, so you probably have a pipeline and a sales funnel. You probably should have 100, 200 accounts at any time that have a rating of green, yellow, or red. Green means it's 50% or more likely that it's going to close as a sell. Yellow is it's 50-50. Red means it's unlikely that it's going to close, and you want to see where you're at in the sales funnel. for you, average order value is going to be a really big deal because you're going to have such a wide variety, right? In this case, every subscription you get of tea is pretty much the same. It's going to be $5 a month, $10 a month, $20 a month. You may have a customer that orders $10,000 from you, another customer that orders $100,000 from you. So what you may be doing is it's not enough just to say, hey, how many new customers do I have? Because you may look up one month and say, oh, I've got 20 new customers this month, and last month I only had 10 new, but the 10 last month may have an average order value of $100,000, and these 20 may have an average order value of $5,000, and you're actually a lot worse off. And then in your case, you also want to be looking at repeat business. How often are the retail stores and the chains that are bringing me in re-upping and keeping buying more and more? So I wouldn't necessarily look at so much as a lifetime value of the customer, but I'd look at it as like how much repeat business are you getting per each client, and what's the average order value, right? So that's a quick kind of snapshot of the kind of things in your business you need to be looking at. And again, identify them, be measuring and tracking them, and then benchmark against them. Cool. You want to take one more example of this? Sure. What's your business?
Online magazine.
Okay, it's an online magazine. And do you charge for it, or is it ad-based?
Ad-based.
All right, so if you got a product that's ad-based, the key metrics that you're looking at there is total number of unique visitors, page views, time per session. Probably don't want to look at your demographic as a KPI unless it's changing, right? Ideally, it's staying the same. What's your online magazine about?
Celebrity.
All right, so celebrity. So you don't need to look at that as much. You want to look at the cost of each article, piece of content. So literally for each incremental cost of content, how much it's costing you. You want to look at your monthly expenses. You want to look at your monthly sales. You want to look at the ramp rate of your sales from the previous month before. You want to look at your pipeline of advertisers like we looked at in the distillery business. So you're not going to be trying to get thousands of customers. You're probably going to get a certain number one. And then in your case, what's really important are things like CPMs and RPMs. So for a page, what's the average CPM? What's the amount that you're making per 1,000 impressions? Is it $5? Is it $10? Is it $20? And their advertising word, if you're making a $20 CPM on a page, then you've got a fantastic ad-based business, and your goal is just to increase it. So how do you get a higher rate for every 1,000 people that visit it? Right? So that's a sample of your KPIs and what you want to be tracking and measuring on an ongoing basis. And so, for example, in our case, we do still make a lot of money from advertising in addition to our subscription model. And so for a long time, I would be obsessive about what's the total number of page views that we're getting, what's the total number of unique visitors, and what's the RPM, what's the CPM that we're getting on those pages.